recently I was talking to some farmers and um, they were talking about how there's lots of different options out there when it comes to marketing or to growing your farm business online, doing e-commerce. And there's tons of different options. And so I thought I'd make a little comparison of advantages and disadvantages of each. I'll cover all of them because I've done all of these and I've got some experience. Um, and so I kind of relate this to fishing. So have you ever been fishing? If you've ever been fishing, if you ever know this, I like to saltwater fish. There's a lot of small little details that make the difference between completely getting skunked, not catching a thing, to maybe catch, we caught a few fish, we did okay, we caught one or two, to having the best day of your life, right? And filling up the boat with fish. And there's a lot of small little details that got to fall in place to make that work. And it's kind of similar when you look at marketing. There's a lot of little details that you have to have in place to make it work, particularly when you're selling online, you're competing with the likes of Amazon and Walmart. Um, so I basically broke it down to four different options when it comes to marketing your farm online. And the first option is third party, online stores and marketplaces. Um, these are kind of like a fishing rod. It's kind of a tool, but that's about it. And I'll go into more detail on these. The second option is online courses, programs, and this is kind of like a book or DVD on how to fish, and sometimes they can have really good information. The third option is, marketing, proven marketing agencies. And these are kind of like the experienced trout fishermen that have expertise in one particular area. And the fourth would be, more farmer-led programs, coaching programs, and things of that sort. These are kind of like your local fishing guide, and they tend to fill up the boat. And so I want to kind of compare and contrast some of these options, cost, advantages, disadvantages, etc. So starting with the first one, third-party online platform or online store. This you can further break down to two different options: do it yourself or done for you. Do it yourself options would be like Shopify, Squarespace, Square, WooCommerce, WordPress. I mean, there's dozens and dozens of them, right? And this is a tool. That's essentially a tool in your toolbox, right? And it's just one tool. Your website is one very small tool to your whole e-commerce module. You got to have a website, you got to have an online store, you got to have social media, you got to have email marketing. It's all got to jive. And you got to have landing pages, and so there's all got to jive together in funnels. Um, so this is kind of like going fishing and just buying a fishing rod at Walmart. If you use like one of these do-it-yourself options like Shopify, the advantages are it's quick, it's cheap. Maybe there are a lot of times subscriptions are $30 to $50 a month. You can custom design it however you want. And I've used these. I've built my own. I've had other people design my websites and stores many times. And then I went back to doing it myself, and I had somebody else do it. The disadvantages is it can be very difficult to learn and kind of master. Now, some of these offer like, quick templates and things like that to build your online store, but it's just one small piece of the puzzle, right? You need a lot more pieces to really make this work. There is no silver bullet in farming and farm marketing, particularly online. It's more like 1,000 BBs, right? And so you've got one piece of the puzzle. You've got a fishing rod, but you don't have bait, right? You're kind of missing a lot of the other pieces. So you're not going to have a lot of traffic. You're not going to have a lot of marketing. You're not going to have a lot of personal support with this. The second option, there's third-party platforms. There's like these direct-to-consumer marketing platforms that specifically work with farmers, and they're more of a done-for-you option. They kind of done with you or done for you. They kind of help you set up your online store, and they give you some advice. And there's a lot of these, and I tried several of them and paid $100 $150 a month. And this is kind of like getting a nice fishing rod at a nice fishing store, right? They're really nice. They help you set things up. They're very customizable. They're easy to use. They usually have a lot more advanced features, such as different pickup and delivery schedules that you wouldn't have with an out of the box like Shopify site. And these are usually catered towards farmers, right? There's several out there. I'm not going to name them. Sometimes they have some integration. Sometimes they have some support. They have some videos, some help support, stuff like that to teach you how to bring traffic. But again, the biggest disadvantage, and I did one of these for many years, and I got very little sales because they don't bring traffic to your website, right? You have your online store, you have your website, but you have to bring customers there. And you have to know what to say and how to say it and where to find those customers and how to turn them into repeat customers. They don't do that for you. They might give you some tips and tactics, but that's about as far as it goes. So they don't have any marketing. They don't bring traffic. There's very minimal coaching and support. So after doing this for about a year, I gave up on it. It didn't work for me. Um, so just my take on this, my experience is I've used both. It was kind of like having a really nice fishing rod, but nowhere to fish and no knowledge of what to do, how to fish, right? Um, you can have the most expensive fish around the world, but if it doesn't put fish in the boat, if you don't have all the other pieces, it doesn't do you very much good, right? So that brings us to number two, which would be like an online course or coaching program. And this, a lot of times, is like a book or a DVD on how to fish, right? Um, we need, the advantage of like an online course is you can get a lot of great information, right? And sometimes it can be very detailed to give you those finer details. And sometimes these people holding these courses also provide coaching and support, and they give you knowledge. And this can get you a long way, right? This can give you a lot of great information, but Google is the biggest provider of information in the world. And if it was all we needed was information, well, then everybody would be a millionaire. You just Google it, right? But you need a lot more than information, right? Tiger Woods would not be the golfer he is if he just read a book on golfing, right? Or if he just watched a DVD on golfing. And I say this because I used to offer online courses for a long time, for many years, and I found that it was very mixed results, right? Some people would do okay with it. Sometimes it would fill in some gaps in knowledge they needed, and they're real self starters and go getters, and they could figure out the rest, and they made it. But other people, they're still missing several pieces, and even though they're following everything else tell them to do, they still weren't getting the success they needed. They still had a lot of details to figure out, and they weren't sure what was missing or why it was missing or why something wasn't working. A lot of times, these programs, have very little support. It's a really good starting point, but there's a lot of trial and error. And even if you follow it to a T, you still may not know why it's not working, right? And so it's kind of like going out, reading a book on fishing, then you go out to the spot in the lake or spot in the river, and you start fishing, and you don't catch anything. And you don't know if it's because you're in the wrong spot, if it was the wrong tide. Tides are big here in saltwater fishing on the coast. If it was the wrong weather, wrong day, the color of your lure was the wrong color, the wrong time of year. There's so many things that could go wrong that even though you followed everything perfectly in that program, it didn't work, right? Because there's so many variables. Um, so that brings me to option number three. And I don't think a lot of farmers really do this. But if you're considering a marketing agency, there's a lot of marketing agencies that say they'll run ads or they'll build your website for you. And this is kind of like hiring an experienced trout fisherman, right? He knows trout. He knows how to catch trout. And so these marketing agencies are really good at building a website, are really good at running ads, right? They know their stuff, right? They really do. They have a lot of experience when it comes to that type of fishing. And a lot of times these can be, from several $100s a month to $5,000, $10,000 a month is what they charge. And these might be an e-commerce expert or ads expert. But the problem is they know e-commerce, they know marketing, and they know website, but they don't know farmers, and they don't know who your customer is, and they don't know how to find those customers and how to market farm products, right? They might know how to sell makeup, but they don't know how to sell chicken, right? And so what happens is if you're a farmer, a lot of times that knowledge is wasted or it doesn't work or it doesn't apply to your situation, right? It's kind of like hiring the best trout fisherman or the best bass fisherman in the world. He is the best at what he does, but you're going out there trying to catch tuna, right? He's a freshwater bass fisherman, and you're like, hey, I want to catch tuna, and he's like, well, you can try this and try that, and things aren't working because the stuff he catches for bass doesn't work for tuna, right? And so that's kind of my take on them is, they're not always the best option. The fourth option is doing a farmer-led marketing program. And this is kind of like your local fishing guide, right? They know your customers, they know farming, they know farm products, and they can put you on the fish. And you can have a bang-up day. You can fill up the boat with fish. In this case, on your farm, be sales. Fill up your cart with sales and do really, really well. There's a lot of new people in this space recently, I've noticed. When I started doing this about 3-4 years ago, there was only like one or two, and now there's a bunch of people getting into the space. The price varies a lot. I've seen anywhere from $1,000 to $18,000 on the high end, and we've had several people that paid $18,000 of these programs and still didn't get the results they wanted. They said they were pretty terrible, and it's pretty amazing. That's part of the reason I wanted to start this, make this little video for you. Um, The pros, let me talk about the pros and cons, and I'll talk about how to kind of weed them out. So advantages are, it's usually run by a current farmer, or maybe they used to farm in the past. And so they have real knowledge about farming and about farm products and about the customers, and they may offer you personalized support. They may do some done for you products or some done for you elements to put in place for your farm. Um, some of the disadvantages I've seen with these programs is a lot of times their experience or their method is old or outdated. Maybe they haven't farmed in 5 or 10 or 20 years, right? And so a lot of things they used to do aren't working anymore. Think about how fast technology is changing. Marketing changes so much faster. Year over year, it changes so much. Um, you know, uh, 10 years ago, Facebook was king, right? And then Instagram came out, and now everybody's using Instagram. 5 years ago, Instagram was a thing, and now you got TikTok, and now you got, marketing and where people are, where eyeballs are, is constantly changing year over year. And so what worked 10 years ago doesn't exactly work today. Okay. So a lot of times these tactics, their methods, their strategies are outdated. Um, Another thing is that a lot of times their tactics only apply to one specific type of farmer, and it's not applicable to other types of farming. So what I mean by this is there's a lot of people that are selling beef or promoting beef on here. And what works for beef doesn't always work for poultry or pork or other items or vegetables, right? And a good example of this is I see a lot of farmers saying, hey, we helped Susie get $10,000 of sales in 1 month, in just 30 days of beef, right? Well, when you look at it, you realize when you look into the details, Susie sold a half a beef for $5,000. So what that meant is she only had to find two customers, right? Two customers, and she made 10 grand. And so getting customers is the hardest thing. So to get two customers, even though it's a really expensive customer, is not that hard. It's much harder to find 200 good customers if you're selling $10,000 is if you're selling a $50 product, so a $50 box of chicken or side of pork, you have to find 200 customers, and that would be $10,000. It's far easier to find two customers to pay you $5,000 than 200 customers to pay you $50. It's infinitely easier to find two customers than it is 200, even though it's a cheaper product. And so a lot of times these methods, if you see a lot of these people doing pre-sell, pre-sell all your beef for the year, or Suzy Q made $15,000 in 2 months. Well, great, but that doesn't work when you're selling pork or chicken or vegetables or other items. Okay, so just check and make sure that it's applicable to what kind of farming you're doing. The other disadvantage is a lot of these farmers, these programs don't offer any guarantee of success. If you start asking them who you worked with, what kind of results do you get, they might give you some vague details, but if they don't have a guarantee, then they don't have a proven process, right? They don't have confidence in their system. So they must have a guarantee. And sometimes they do some elements for you, sometimes they don't. Sometimes it's more just teaching and coaching. So just look at the details of what they're offering. Um, so this brings us to the question, well, what do you do? If these are our options, not all of them sound great. And what I would say is you have a couple of options, right? One, I would say first thing you need to do is ask questions. If you're evaluating some of these other programs, some of these other options, ask them, what kind of results are typical? How many customers is that a month? Like, how many customers are your clients, your farmers that you're working with getting? What kinds of products are these farmers selling? What is the average price tag of the product they're selling? And get them to show you some data, some stats. Ask them if they have a guarantee. If they don't have a guarantee or they hesitate, they don't have confidence in their program, because they know that if half the people refunded, they'd be out of business, right? And I know a lot of folks. There's several programs. We just hired on a new client. He's done several of these programs, and neither one of them offered a guarantee, and neither one got him any results. He's like, I'm just fed up. And I said, give us a chance. We're going to make this work for you. Ask them how much information is taught or do it yourself versus what is done for you. Some of them do certain elements for you, some of them don't. That's a good idea to feel out, like, what am I expected to do? What are you expected to do? Because if you're kind of left on your own and it's just a course, an online course, and you're up to do it all, they leave it up to you to do on yourself, all by yourself, then things can go awry. And then ask them how many farmers they've worked with, what were their typical results, how many farmers were like you? Were they raising the same things that you're raising? Are they in the same boat as you are? Are they doing the same kind of sales currently that you are? And that'll kind of give you a feel whether this is a good fit for you, right? So that's where I would start. Ask those questions. Ask those hard questions, and they should have good answers, so you can kind of fill out those programs. Second option, I just mentioned this, is if you don't already know about this, we have a program called our Farm Profit Accelerator. So this is our entire done-for-you marketing system. So we do all this steps for you. So our program is kind of like having the high-end fishing rod and the tackle, right? We put everything, we custom build your own website, your online store. We can integrate with your existing online store if you're in love with your Shopify site. We can kind of integrate with that, but we like to build you your own, and put everything under one roof on one platform. We don't have multiple third parties trying to talk to one another with your website, your online store, and your email. It's all in one place. So we have your email marketing, your social media scheduler. It's a customer relationship manager or CRM. Everything all in one. It's got a million features on it, which is incredible. We give you the video learning course so you can learn the concepts and the elements all on your own, and so this is kind of like having your DVD on how to fish, or your book detailed how to do everything, and then we give you one-on-one expert coaching with myself and my team to have an expert kind of guide you through that and show you the best fishing spots, right? And show you how to cast the rod and bring you to the spot, and kind of look over your shoulder. So we're kind of giving you the fishing rod, we're giving you the boat, we're taking you out on the boat, we're bringing you to the best fishing hole, and we're showing you how to fish, right? And we're helping you cast the rod if we need to, right? We'll pick that rod up and cast it if we need to. But we want you to learn how to fish. And we'll look at the metrics, and we'll tell you kind of the decision-making framework, why we decided to do this instead of that, why we adjusted the budget on this ad or did it this way. And so this is farmer-led. I started my farm 7 years ago, raising pastured poultry. And so the tips and the things that I learned are things that I have done on my own and been successful with. I am not a marketer, I'm a farmer. I don't have any degree in marketing. And so the things I share are just the things that work for me. One thing that's really important, I think that sets the Farm Product Accelerator apart, is that it works for all types of farm products. So not just beef. Our average sales for our clients, our customers, our farmers are around $50 to $100. That's the average sale. So we're not trying to sell, 3 halves of beef and be like, boom, we just got you 10 grand. We're getting a lot of sales of smaller volume products. Oh, the other thing I should mention, these smaller dollar products, if a customer is buying a $50 item, it's not going to lend well to shipping, because if it's a frozen meat item, you might have to pay $20, $30, $40, $50 by the time you pay for shipping, by the time you pay for the box, the liner, the ice packs, and the shipping cost, right? And so, again, all those systems that promote these high ticket, high expensive products and beef and things, and they're shipping all over the country, doesn't work when you're selling a $50 product. And so we got a very different strategy. We have a recurring revenue system. And so this is our new advanced system for getting repeat sales month after month. So we're not just chasing a one-time purchase. We're getting repeat sales so you can hang your hat on that business and know that those sales are coming in month after month. And it works for these smaller ticket items. We do offer a money-back guarantee, 110% money-back guarantee. So we're going to guarantee you an ROI on our program. And we make it very affordable. We have payment plans as low as $360 a month. So if you're already paying $100, $200, $300 a month, by the time you factor in your domain, your email marketing software, your website, your online store, and fees, you're probably at $150 to $200 a month. Throw in an extra $150 a month and get all this done for you, and all the coaching and the course and everything that we have. Importantly, this is probably most important, we have dozens of reviews from real farmers. So if you want to see our reviews, go to regenerativesuccess.com/reviews. Here's just a little snapshot. This farmer got $1,600 in subscriptions in one day, brand new subscription signups in one day. That's going to be repeat revenue. This farmer got $40,000 in profit with 2 simple changes on his farm. Another farmer got $4,000 in new monthly recurring revenue, $4,000 in new revenue in the first 30 days that he launched his subscription program. This farmer increased his profit 24K in 7 days. Um, $30,000 in farm sales in 5 days. Kevin saved $3,150 on his farm just the first hour of coaching. Tom went from no experience farming, zero sales, to 78K? It's hard to see. 78K in farm sales in less than 6 months. Another farmer got $7,000 in new farm sales and monthly farm sales through wholesale and restaurant deals. And then another farmer that went from $300 a month in revenue when he started to now $20,000 a month. So lots of good reviews. You can see their testimonials, hear their thoughts and their words from them themselves. These aren't manufactured reviews. You can hear our interview. And so the next step is if this sounds like something that piques your interest, I'd love to chat with you. Here's the next step. Go to this link, go.regenerativesuccess.net/VSL to learn more about our program. You'll get the free training on our 7X sales strategy. And so it's a free training. It tells you kind of how you can increase your farm profit 7X. Tell you a little bit about our program, and then you can click a button to schedule a call, book a call with us where we can go into details of our program, learn about your farm, see if it's going to be a good fit, and we can tell you more about it. So again, that link is go.regenerativesuccess.net/VSL, or just email me if you're interested in learning more information, Jeff@regenerativesuccess.com. That's my email.